So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do priority 2, and I'm going to test for a wrong end. So I'm going to find the TP of C1, and I'm going to apply a lateral to medial pressure on the TP of C1. I'm going to check if the legs balance, and then I'm going to check if there is a torque component, which would either be a clockwise or a counterclockwise torque. Then I will take my instrument and I will put it on the TP of C1, and I will go in a line of drive of lateral to medial. Okay, for the next one, I'm going to check for posterior rotation of C1 and C5. So I would apply, I'm going to find the lamina pedicle junction of C1, and I'm going to apply a P to A pressure on C1. And if the legs balance, I will check for a torque component, either a clockwise or counterclockwise. Then I will place my integrator at the lamina pedicle junction of C1, and my line of drive will be P to A. Then I will go to C5, and I will apply a pressure of P to A on the lamina pedicle junction. Check for a torque component of clockwise or counterclockwise. And then I will place my integrator, and I will adjust P to A on that one. Okay, and for the last one, for priority 2, I will have a bilateral cervical syndrome. So the first one I'm going to test for is posterior inferior occiput. So I will find the EOP, and I will go slightly inferior. I'm going to apply posterior and inferior pressure to test it to see if the legs balance. I will also check for a clockwise and counterclockwise torque. If that needs adjusting, I will place the integrator inferior to the EOP with a line of drive of P to A and slightly I to S. Next one that I will do will be coccyx, which I will not be using a torque on the coccyx or the sphenoid. So I will apply posterior and then I to S pressure to check for the coccyx. I will find her coccyx. I will do a slight tissue pull, place the integrator, and I will be going posterior to anterior and slightly I to S. Then I will come up to the sphenoid, and I will place my thumb. I will place my thumb over the sphenoid, and I will go from superior to inferior on the sphenoid with my thumb over the sphenoid. And I do want to say a correction on the coccyx. I will be going, my line of drive will be I to S and slightly A to P, not P to A. Okay, then I'm going to be checking for C5, posterior and inferior. So I will be on the spinous process of C5, and I will check for counterclockwise and clockwise torque. If that needs to be adjusted, I will place the integrator. My line of drive will be P to A and I to S. Then I will go to spinous process of C1, apply a pressure, check for clockwise, counterclockwise torque. My line of drive for the integrator will be posterior to anterior and I to S. Then I'm going to check T6. I will apply a pressure P to A, I to S to check for it, and then I will apply a clockwise or counterclockwise torque. And if the torque is necessary, my integrator will be at a line of drive of P to A and I to S. And lastly, I will check for lateral C1. Again, I will apply pressure from lateral to medial, checking torque clockwise, counterclockwise. I will place the integrator at the lateral portion of the TP of C1, and my line of drive will be lateral to medial. And that is priority 2.